Howdy again everyone, and today I've got something pretty unique for you. Samyang have recently released their Remaster Slim modular lens kit. It's an autofocus pancake lens with 3 interchangeable optics modules, a 21mm f3.5, 28mm f3.5 and 32mm f2.8, and they say there's nothing new under the sun. The modules, as you can see, are tiny. They come in little see-through plastic cases, and the whole set comes in a black plastic carry case, so it's a very portable option, and at $400 or £330 here in the UK, it could offer good value for money. Well, if the lenses are any good, that is. It's currently just for Sony E-mount mirrorless cameras, and as I mentioned, they cover a full frame image circle. I'd like to thank Samyang's UK distributor for loaning me this kit for a couple of weeks for testing, although as usual, this is a totally independent review. And here are some images from the 3 lenses. As you might be able to see, the 21mm optic is lovely and wide, just about ultra wide in fact. 28mm, well, that's your standard wide angle, not quite so exciting, and 32mm, well, that's not much different really. It would have been nice to see 35 or even 40mm as the third option here, but at least its aperture of f2.8 is a little brighter than the other two, offering you slightly better background separation and faster shutter speeds. Here you can see me getting the modules in and out of the base lens. They're a little fiddly, but once you get the knack of it, it's pretty easy to change them around. As you can see, the whole package is tiny, especially the little optical modules, and I'm impressed that Samyang managed to fit full autofocus and aperture control into this package. The lens is made of a mixture of metal and plastic. There's no weather sealing here to be seen, but there is a USB-C port on the rear for future firmware updates. The lens also features an auto manual focus switch and a narrow manual focus ring, which turns quite smoothly and works okay with a focus motor. No matter which optical module you're using, the autofocus motor works the same, accurately but a little slowly, while making an audible whirring noise. You can also see some focus breathing here, which again is common for all 3 modules. The base lens has a 49mm filter thread, it does not come with a hood, and it does not feature image stabilization. Overall, the build quality is just okay here, nothing really to write home about. Changing the modules is a fiddly endeavour at first, but you soon get used to it. Okay, image quality. We'll start by testing the lenses on a full frame camera, my Sony a7R III. In-camera corrections are turned on for this test. In the middle, we're getting okay sharpness and good contrast from the 21mm lens. The 28mm lens is soft, and the 32mm lens a little sharper, but still with low contrast. In their image corners, all 3 lenses are very soft. Let's top down to f5.6, they each look a little better, but still really quite soft. The middles of their images are looking okay now, but still not quite razor sharp. Stop down to f8 though, and they each look quite fantastic in the middle. Over in the corners, the 21mm lens is looking fairly sharp now, and the others, especially the 28mm lens, still a bit soft. The best image quality for each module is found at f11, although diffraction will be softening the image from here, and for anyone interested, here is f16. Well, there's no sugarcoating it really, these little optics are fairly poor optically, especially the 28mm one. Perhaps they'll do better on a 24MP aps-c camera instead. Let's take a look. At their maximum apertures, in the middle of their images, the 21mm optic looks the sharpest, the 32mm is nearly there, and the 28mm optic is still pretty soft. In their image corners, all 3 lenses look very soft, particularly the 28mm optic. At f5.6, each of the lenses sees an improvement, but they're still quite weak in their corners. The good news though is that back in the middle, they're all looking pretty sharp now. Here's f8, where they all look more or less the same in the middle, but now their corner image quality is quite usable. At f11, they're all at their best, although it's a little disappointing to have to stop them down this much to see sharpness in the corners. So yeah, they're all still really struggling on aps-c too, although they can offer some quite good sharpness when stopped down. Let's turn off in-camera corrections and take a look at distortion and vignetting. Firstly, the 21mm lens projects quite strong barrel distortion here and heavy vignetting at f3.5. Even if you stop down to f11, that vignetting doesn't really go away very much. Here's the 28mm lens. It doesn't really show any distortion, but again, heavy vignetting at f3.5, and those corners brighten a little at f5.6, but that's as good as they get. Finally, the 32mm lens displays strong pincushion distortion, quite the variety we're getting here. Again, there's very strong vignetting at f2.8, at f5.6 and f11 that gets reduced, but again, it never really goes away, so lots of problems overall here, particularly that very strong vignetting. Okay, let's see how the lenses work against bright lights now. All three of them show a similar amount of glare and reflections when faced up against bright lights, so it's a slightly below average performance. When it comes to coma smearing, the wider angle the optic, the more smearing you see. Stop down to f5.6 and any that was there is mostly gone. Now let's take a look for some sun stars. On all three lenses, they begin to emerge when stopped down to f8, getting stronger at f11 and very strong at f16 and f22. Nice. Finally, bokeh. With the wider angle lenses, you have to get right up close to your subject for any kind of background separation here. The 32mm lens is your best bet for out-of-focus backgrounds. The widest angle lenses offer reasonably soft backgrounds here. The 32mm lens has problems with its specular highlights though, which pick up a strange shape towards the image corners and have a slight onion pattern to their substructure. Okay, what can we say overall? Well, the Samyang Remaster Slim package left me with really mixed feelings, as you can probably tell by now. It's not a bad value proposition here, as you're basically getting 3 pancake lenses for about £330 with autofocus, and the modules are so small that it's very portable and a lightweight option, and I can't fault Samyang for experimenting a bit. On a downside, the lens's optics are still pretty low quality, to be honest, which somewhat negates the whole exercise. I think some photographers might enjoy having these in their kit bag for travelling around, but they're a little too gimmicky for me. Samyang's best recent lens is their 135mm f1.8, which is an absolute triumph, one of my favourites that I've tested in ages. I personally would love to see Samyang avoiding these kind of unusual lenses and getting back to their roots and making more of those impressive, high-quality prime lenses. Diolch am wylio pawb. Thanks for watching everyone. Hope you enjoyed that video and found it helpful. If you regularly watch these reviews, then check out my Patreon page in the description below for a whole load of exclusive bonus content and a nice warm feeling deep inside for supporting this channel. Ciao for now, everyone.